Head-to-head showdown. iPhone 11 Pro versus the Red Komodo. Product video. Today, I'm here with Adam Asdell. He's actually one of my good friends that's an amazingly talented DP. He's been working on Reds for quite a while and does a lot of shooting out in Colorado and all around the world. Actually filmed with me in Ireland last year, and I brought him out here because I wanted to shoot with his new Red Komodo, but I also had an interesting concept for him. I thought, what if we took my iPhone 11 Pro and we compared the videos? Because a lot of times people are saying, it's all about the camera, it's all about the camera. Oh, your video only looks this good because of the camera. So now we're gonna be taking a top of the line Red Komodo and my iPhone 11 Pro, and you guys try to tell the difference between these shots as we create this product video. Today, we are using Peace Tea. We are not sponsored by them in any way or getting paid, yep. And we just like the label and the design. We came up with a good concept. We just went to the store, right?
Yep.
Looking around at stuff and we're like, what would be cool to shoot? Peace Tea it is. And then let's talk a little bit about the iPhone 11 Pro. So I was reached out to by Sandmark, which is a company that actually makes these attachments right here, these lens attachments, and also these really sick lights, bicolor and RGB color changing lights like that. And they reached out to me and they said, hey, we'd love for you to make a product video using your iPhone. They actually sent me a macro lens and a Sandmark sent me a macro lens and a telephoto lens.
Take that
and
top. Take that.
No, it doesn't matter. We just keep on rolling. So they sent me a macro lens and telephoto lens, and you just screw them into the back of the case that they give you, like so. Pretty cool. You just go like that, and then it attaches on. Yep. Boom. Now we got a macro lens. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna try to match shot for shot by attaching this to that, and then we are gonna get some sick ass content, and you guys see what you think is better.
I think the Komodo's gonna take it.
Well, that's because you paid for a Komodo.
That is also true. I'm gonna hope the Komodo takes it for personal preference, but we'll see what happens.
So I'm gonna let Adam talk about the Komodo specs first, and then I'll talk a little bit about the iPhone 11 Pro specs.
Perfect. So yeah, the Komodo, this is actually the Stormtrooper edition. It's a beta model of the Komodo that will be available for release who knows when. But yeah, picked up this camera recently. It shoots 6K. Highest frame rate at 6K is 40 frames a second. So we're gonna be having to play with some lower resolutions to get our frame rates up and kind of see what happens. But it is featuring a red sensor, Super 35, and we've got the Canon L glass EF, so we'll be using that and kind of see what happens.
Yeah, and then like I said, I'll be with the iPhone 11 Pro, and what I've done is I've actually got an app that's going to help me with the filming to bring up the quality, and that app is right here. It's Filmic Pro, and that allows you to actually adjust everything. We're not sponsored by them, but a lot of people that have filmed and been in film competitions with just using an iPhone, they recommend this. It was pretty much use these lenses to help so I can match. So on his 85, I'm going to be using my telephoto lens on this Sandmark telephoto lens on the camera. And then I think this goes up to 4K 60. I have no clue what the sensor size is. Probably really small. And 4K 60, but also just 240 frames in slow-mo. So we're gonna do that because his...
Got 2K at 120.
2K at 120.
So we'll be cropping in on the sensor for sure.
Yeah.
So we'll see what the quality, if it holds up when we get down.
No, I thought it was 2K 240.
No, 2K 120.
Then what's 220?
We don't get it 220.
Oh yeah, sorry.
We don't get it 240.
We were shooting with his other Red yesterday. Sorry, I was totally mixing that up. Yeah, so there I think might be a little bit of advantage for my slow motion with the
That is true.
iPhone,
Maybe
so we'll
maybe that's slower.
Yeah. So yeah, let's start shooting. What our concept here is we're gonna start with the different colors. We're gonna start with this one right here, and we're just gonna keep changing the backgrounds, rotating them. We're gonna keep the product shoot actually very simple. We're not gonna get too complicated like I usually do, because this is more just matching and seeing what the difference in picture quality is, and then kind of playing with the dynamic range and some of the shots and the slow motion, and really see, do you need a Red Komodo, or can you just shoot this on your iPhone 11 Pro?
Love it. Let's get started.
So what we're doing is we're going to be drilling holes in the bottom of the can. And we're going to drill multiple holes, but we want one dead in the center, because what we're going to do is take a barbecue stick on the skewer and then put on the Lazy Susan so we can float it, and then in post I can remove it so it looks like it's spinning in air by itself. But the reason why I'm drilling multiple holes is because if you just drill one, it won't drain properly. So you have to drill a few holes so that all the liquid's not trying to come out of one hole. Awesome, so we're starting with our first product, and it's going to be the Snowberry on a white backdrop. And like I said, we're having it on the X-Comic turntable. And then for our lighting, we're running the Aperture 300D Mark II on a lantern. And this is acting as a top light, but also our background light. And that's what I like about this, it gives a very even spread. Then over here, we have our other Aperture 300D, and we have that on a rectangular diffusion by Glow, and that gives this nice line. I really like using it with bottles, is using rectangular diffusions. And then we have our Nova 300, and that is by Aperture as well, and that's our hard light for right now. We're gonna change it to colors later because we can do that. And then right in the back, we just have a cone on our Godox, and that's acting as our backlight for our product, which is giving it a nice little rim light right here on the top. So that is our setup. Adam over here, he's rocking with the Komodo on the slider, on the Edelkrone, and he's gonna be pushing in with a 50mm. He doesn't have autofocus, so he's gonna have to be pulling his focus for the push in, where I can actually just use autofocus on my iPhone. So first he's gonna get a shot, and then I'm gonna replicate it. We've been having a little bit of trouble of how to mount this. I took one of my C-stand clip heads and clipped it to the iPhone, and then took another clip, an industrial size clip, and clipped it to the tripod head on the slider. And so that hopefully is giving us the steady shot that we need. The only problem is it makes it very hard for me to access my menu. Okay, so a little bit of a disclaimer before we end this video. I have never shot or used an iPhone until I was sent this iPhone. And Adam doesn't shoot product videos. He does more nature documentary TV shows and movies. So we're both kind of a little bit out of our realm, but we kind of figured that it makes it a little bit more even, because since I've never shot with an iPhone and he's never shot product videos, it kind of balances out, and we helped each other out. So it wasn't as much of a competition as just to see what kind of shots we can get. We're gonna talk now about the goods and bads of the two cameras, and I think just to state with that, I'm gonna say the goods and bads compared to each other while shooting for this, because hands down, I'll tell you right now, like, I would use my Canon 1DX Mark III over all of these any day, just because that is something that I'm used to. And that's very important to know, is that you want to work with a camera, never go onto a set like renting or buying a camera that you've never had experience with and then charge somebody for that, because the reality is you're not going to know how to make that camera work to its advantage, and it's going to honestly be more of a give me the word here.
Hassle?
Yeah, it's just going to be more of a problem.
Yeah, it's going to be more of a problem and be really just a disadvantage to you, and you're not going to get as good a quality with something that you're used to. So for example, if you try to rent a Red and never used a Red, and then you're going to try to use that on a set, you're going to run into a lot of problems because you're not used to that camera. And I definitely ran into a lot of problems using an iPhone. The pluses and minuses, these lenses worked really good. I really like the telephoto lens. It gives nice depth of field. The macro lens, I have to get really close. I'm not sure what the focal length is on that macro, but I had to get so close to the cans, and so that makes it a little bit more difficult. I'm sure that Sandmark has quite a few different lenses that you can choose from. These are just the ones that they sent me, but it does make a difference in the quality. I can see that in the Sandmark lenses, it really does make the image a lot more crisp, so I did enjoy that. Then on the app side of the iPhone, using the Filmic Pro, when I go to 4K 60, for some reason I cannot see my histogram at all, and that was frustrating because I'm not sure what my histogram was the whole time doing this. For some reason, there's a glitch in it where when you click the button where the histogram is, it doesn't switch to it at 4K 60. We tried it on his phone too. We're not sure. The pluses, comparatively to the Komodo, my autofocus tracking is super solid, and so I can make a lot more dynamic movements in shots comparatively to Adam with the setup that he's running right now. Obviously, if he had a focus puller and we had a focus wheel, it would make it a little bit easier, but then that's another person that you'd have to hire, so just to keep that in mind. But other than that, I mean, it's light, and I thought it was gonna be quicker, but since I didn't know it, Adam was actually quicker with his camera, and we are struggling quite a bit with this. I mean, we will see once we have the footage side by side, especially when it's compressed onto Instagram and YouTube, but I mean, I was actually thoroughly impressed with the image quality of this. And I'm excited to see the 240 frames, because we shot it at 240, but it's only playing back at 240 right now, and I want to see the difference between my slow-mo and his 120 frames. So I think that's what I have for this camera.
Well, I mean, I guess I'll start with kind of the negatives of the Komodo. We didn't really have the rigging support to do a lot of the same shots that we were getting on the iPhone. With the iPhone, we were actually able to rig up a bird's eye view using just a C-stand. If I wanted to do the same thing with the Komodo, I would need a few other tools and someone on set maybe to help out with that. So again, like what you said, the autofocus on yours. When I was doing slider shots, I was either having to pull by hand or set focus. And we could have fixed that if we rigged up a wireless follow focus system and Austin over here was pulling focus off another monitor, you know, and that would be a solution to that. But again, you're adding another hand onto your set. So for someone who's a solo shooter, you know, the iPhone may take the advantage on that. Again, it's going to come down to what the final quality looks like. But so going down to, because the highest frame rates of this shot was 2K 120. And so your shots at 240 may look way cooler. We did some cool pour shots and all of that. And so the 120 versus 240, even if you lose a little bit of quality in the iPhone, you may, by getting that extra frame rate, may look really cool. So other than that, I mean, I ran through 4 batteries and we shot pretty much all day. And you were able to go through almost that whole iPhone battery without charging it. So there you go. I mean,
well, I mean, I started half charged.
Started half charged, and you got to run it. And so these little Canon BP batteries right here, I mean, these are going to run you $175 a pop. So
yeah. So what does the Komodo with that setup that you have right there cost?
So right here, this is the Stormtrooper model. So the Stormtrooper models run at $7,000. They say when the production model comes out, it's going to be $6,000. When you rig up a monitor, say this Sigma glass, what was your 35? What did that run?
I think it's
$899.
$899.
$899. So I mean, you're looking at that. You're looking at $400 for the monitor. You're looking at $550 for a 512 CFast card. So like everything combined, I mean, you're around the 10K range to get this camera up and running to the way that I would feel comfortable.
So my camera, I mean, my phone, it runs about $1,200. And that has 3 lenses that are built in, but it also has the Sandmark lenses, which they are about $100. They even have anamorphic lenses. They have tons of filters that you can get just built for the iPhone, which I think is actually really cool. I mean, and then the macro lens so you can get closer. So, I mean, pretty much for the kind of same setup, you're looking for like under $2,000, but I do recommend getting like the right kind of cage or mounts for it instead of doing a jerry rig like you're doing.
Yeah.
I just don't shoot with an iPhone, so this is not something that like I even thought of beforehand, which was a mistake on my part.
Yeah.
But that was a huge disadvantage because when I was rolling the slider, I had to be super careful because we were getting a lot of wobbles otherwise. So this was literally probably one of the hottest days, and we don't have air conditioning in my house. You might see that we're glistening. We had to take multiple breaks because it's just really uncomfortable. It's over 100 and something degrees outside right now, which is not common for California, but we've been having some heat waves. And so, I mean, I don't know, well, hopefully our quality of our videos go, but like we're starting to wither away pretty fast. I hope this is helpful for everybody and that you learned a few things, and I'm curious to see what the footage looks like compared to each other. It's gonna be pretty interesting. I hope that you guys can tell from the first to the beginning of the video which one's which. I mean, that'll be fun to see, and then we're now gonna reveal what they look like. I mean, now we're gonna reveal the 2 different ones and which one was which. Alright guys, thank you so much for watching this video. I really appreciate it. Thank you again, Adam, for helping me. With that, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Please like, share, subscribe, comment, whatever you want to do. You can tell us your opinion in the comments below. And just remember, I mean, we're doing this more as a simple product video just to show the comparisons of the two cameras, not something crazy and elaborate like most of my product shots. So if you guys want to check that out, check out the rest of my videos as well, because those are pretty cool, I think, as well, right?
Yeah.
Cool. Thumbs up.